all this crap I'm going through and hold my head up. Like I walk around with my head down.
Is that part of being a Rasta?
Yeah, this is my identity.
Hello you all and welcome back to my channel. So I was scrolling down on my YouTube channel just watching a couple of videos that YouTube recommended to me, and I seen a couple of videos from this show called The Main Problem, where people were getting their hair restored, people that had damaged hair, and them deciding what they want to do with their hair. So there was one video that stuck out to me, and there was a man on there, and the title said, "I lost my confidence when I cut my hair." And instantly I thought about that Bible story of Samson confessing that he would lose his strength if he had shaved his head. Now we've seen a lot of different people, celebrities, cutting their hair and shaving their hair for many different reasons, whether that be stress related, whether that be a journey, a natural hair journey, but the result of it usually has a story behind it. I also thought about T-Pain. You guys know the singer, R&B singer T-Pain, also how he felt about cutting his hair at the time when he cut his hair, but he ended up growing his dreads back. I remember T-Pain was talking about a traumatic event in his life dealing with his uncle, and that he came to him in a dream and told him to cut his dreads off, and that his dreads were holding him back. But after he cut the dreads, he lost his sense of self, and it affected his singing. And I'm gonna play it, but you can see this guy right here relating the same way. And I just think that it's pretty wild how a dream can speak to you so true in a reality sense. Let me play a little snippet of the video that I watched, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you how this relates to the Bible story of Samson.
While I was in college, I grew my dreads out. And as I was pursuing that career in opera, the better I got with my singing, the longer my dreads got. So it was very, they were tied, they were connected. And when I chopped them off, I didn't lose my voice and I didn't lose the power behind my voice, but I did lose just that extra side of me, that confidence. And through other life episodes, it just kept pushing me down further and further and further to the point where I couldn't even get out of bed. So I lost my father, and also I lost my brother. And a couple breakups, everything like that, people taking advantage of me, and it just broke me down. The only thing that really kind of pulled me out to see any kind of light was my music.
Really?
Performing for people, yeah.
For people who don't read the Bible, there are a lot of stories in the Bible that relate to our lives and our daily lives that we go through on a daily basis. And it's kind of wild to me that a Bible that has been written, way before our time, expresses a story that a lot of people go through in such detail to explain the feelings and emotions behind why somebody does something in life. And the reason why I'm making this video is because people say things like, the Bible is not real, not trying to get anybody to believe in anything that they not, but just showing you that there is something higher than ourselves and a reason for our existence. But I just want to prove that there's actual stories that relate to things that we go through on a daily basis. So I'm not going to get all biblical on you all. I'm just going to break the story down real short so you guys can see the correlation with it. So Samson was a Nazarite and was endowed with supernatural power by the Spirit of God and a judge in office. He hated the Philistines that oppressed the Israelites. So then he became great in his own eyes and started to pursue women outside of what God had planned for him. So shortly after, he was going to get married, and during the ceremony to a Philistine woman, he was humiliated by her and the wedding guests. Now during the time, Samson was God's chosen man during the time when the judges ruled Israel. So it says that while Samson was incredibly strong in body, he was very weak in character. And his weakness and flaws was fondness for the Philistine women. So I guess they was able to play on his weakness, but one of the Philistine women name was Delilah. So he fell in love with this Philistine woman named Delilah, and other rulers in the Philistine came to Delilah and offered her money if she could find out what made Samson so strong. So Delilah went home and made a great meal for Samson, and during dinner she asked him, "What made you so strong?" So Samson responded that if he was tied up with 7 new bowstrings that had not been dried, he would lose his strength. So Delilah went back to the rulers and instructed them to tie him up in his sleep. So at that time he told her a tale, and he was able to break free from them trying to tie him up, and I guess she felt disappointment because Samson questioned her love for him because he didn't tell her the secret, even though she was trying to manipulate him to get that money from the rulers. So she continuously bugged him about what made you so strong, kept asking him and asking him. So she bugged him so much that he finally told her the secret in his strength, that if his hair was cut, he would lose his strength. So that evening, Samson slept and Delilah cut his hair and called the Philistines. And so then the Philistine men were able to capture Samson. They barged in, gouged his eyes out, and took him to prison in Gaza. After that, they brought him out to a great crowd full of thousands of people. His hair slowly began to start growing back, but he prayed to God for strength once more to defeat the Philistines. Samson used all of his might and pushed down the temple, killing himself and thousands of Philistines and rulers. So with that story, people like to argue whether his strength was actually in his hair, and being that he lost his hair, he lost his strength, or did he really lose his strength due to Delilah and his weakness that the women seen in him to begin with that they used against him. But it goes back to the stories of why men lose their strength when they cut their hair. Because if you think about it, a lot of men get haircuts. A lot of men rock low hairstyles and they still have strength and they're still able to sustain a certain level of confidence regardless of how their hair is. But as you notice the correlation between these two men, talking about T-Pain and the guy that was on the Main Problem show, they both were singers. And so throughout their career, they grown attached to their hair because they had the hair while the career was at its peak. And then on top of that, the look was the main image behind the music. And so once that image is gone, you're looked at as a different person, especially to the fans and to the people that are used to how you were at your highest moments in life. If you think about it, it's a mind thing, kind of like superstition. If you believe something for so long and grow attached to it, it becomes real to you, and it feels like an attachment that has emotions and value to your life. So it's normal to have an emotional connection to your hair. Think about the emotional transition from a man having hair to going bald, and finally living in it and finally accepting it. The difference between men and women when it comes to hair loss is that women are able to use weave and wigs and different types of methods as a cover for the emotional trauma versus men. But I see nowadays that a lot of women are starting to embrace their natural hair and even their baldness, creating strength behind it. The thing with hair is that we associate it with a lot of things, with wealth and royalty and status, and the thicker it is and the longer it is, it has been known to be defined as beauty. But also a lot of studies have factored in that the impact and emotional well-being, such as stress and depression and anxiety, can increase prior to the cutting or the shaving of the hair. And most of the time, not all the time, you will hear someone talk about a emotional or traumatic story in their life prior to the chop, and then the hair is reborn again.
You know, I took my dreads pretty serious. Like, I took my dreads real fucking serious. And one night, it was two separate nights. One night he came to me in my dream, and I was at like a party. It was like the biggest fucking mansion I've ever seen in my life. Everybody was in all fucking white suits. Everybody was in all white suits. I was in an all black suit. And then, you know, I came down some spiral stairs and I got to the bottom back with a picket fence, you know what I'm saying? Big brown picket fence. And I went in the backyard and he was there in some overalls. And he was like, yo, let me talk to you. And I went to him and he was like, yo, if you want to get back to where you were and you want to get back to how you used to do things, you got to get rid of the thing you care about the most. And I was like, what? You want me to get rid of my kids? He was like, well, no, crazy, not that. Like, you can't get rid of your kids. It was like, you gotta get rid of your hair, dude. Your hair is holding you back from a lot of stuff you could be doing. I'm like what? He was like, yo, you could be getting styled with different hairstyles in movies, and you can't do that right now because you got dreads. You can't do certain things that you want to do in your videos because you got dreads.
And because it is the closest thing to our brains, we tend to chop our hair off as a way of starting over because we feel like it's in our way. We feel like it's so much weight that we're carrying along with everything else that's going on in our lives, to where you feel like if you just get rid of it, it would just be a relief of some sorts, making you feel more lighter and freer and even able to think clearly. So I look at it as a new life, the rebirth, the being in control and not letting that one thing that you think you need control your life. Gaining power, wisdom, and strength. You guys, if you like this video, go ahead and comment below your thoughts on this. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. I'm out.